Hey you guys, welcome back. Today we're going to go over naming angles and identifying different types of angles. Before we do that though, fact number 60 about me. I've had a lot of jobs before becoming a teacher. One of my favorites was working at this place right here, Jason's Deli. I don't know if you guys have ever been there or heard of it. They have a few different locations around here. It is unbelievable. I still love that place. Even after working there for about a year, I still love the food they have there. It's a deli, so they're typically known for sandwiches and soup and chips, but they also have pastas, and they also have these giant baked potatoes that they put a ton of toppings on top of. And they also have my favorite thing, which is a salad bar. And the idea of going to make a giant salad, putting all your favorite toppings on there, any kind of dressing. My favorite is ranch, and they have great ranch there. When I worked there, I actually used to get to make the ranch. And so I know what goes in. I know the recipe. It's incredible. So I love a salad bar. They have everything that you can think of there, and it is all unbelievable. Honestly, it's just delicious, every bit of it. And one of the best parts there is that every single person who goes in gets free soft serve ice cream. And I'm not a soft serve ice cream guy. It's not usually my thing, but this is the best soft serve ice cream I've ever had. I just get the vanilla. They have vanilla and chocolate. And the vanilla is, truly the greatest soft serve ice cream I think that exists in the world. It's my favorite that I've ever had. So, got to go there, got to try it. If you're looking for a salad bar, they have the best salad bar around. If you're looking for a sandwich, get the ranchero wrap with extra ranch dressing. It's delicious, unbelievable. Or if you want like one of those giant baked potatoes, they have one, I think it's called the Plain Jane. And they put a ton of butter and sour cream and chives and bacon and maybe a couple other things too. It's just delicious, unbelievable. So you gotta try it. Let me know if you do, all right? So anyway, let's get back to the math. So this is all about naming angles and identifying different types of angles. Let me get the pen going. 1 second. There we go. So vertical angles, we're going to go through the main 4 angles that we're going to talk about this year, okay? So vertical angles are angles that are, let me cross it out. I'm going to use a little angle symbol. Vertical angles are angles that are across from each other. And vertical angles are usually everybody's favorite because of this next fact right here. They're across from each other, and what's really great about vertical angles is that they are congruent, which means equal. So if I know one of the vertical angles, I know the other one is the exact same measurement because they're congruent, they're equal. Adjacent angles are angles that are right next to each other. Adjacent is one of those words you guys probably don't say a lot, but as you get older, it's a word that comes up a bunch because adjacent does mean next to, all right? Whether you're talking about angles or whether you're talking about neighbors or whatever you're talking about, things that are next to each other are adjacent. Complementary angles are angles that add up to 90 degrees. All right? Complementary adds up to 90. Supplementary angles are angles that add up to 180 degrees. So, those are a few things to keep in mind. They're really important to remember. Some of them are just kind of things you have to remember. It's just memorization, all right? But it is really important. So let's get a look at number 1. Name as many angles as you can. So whenever we name angles, we name them with the angle symbol. It's this right here. It looks like a less than symbol, right? It's the angle symbol. So we name them with 3 letters. 1, 2, 3. Let's go and pick out some letters that we can name these with. So the most important thing is not that they're named alphabetically. In fact, they won't always be named alphabetically. The most important thing is that the vertex goes right in the middle. The middle letter has to be the vertex. In case you forgot what a vertex was, that's where 2 rays. So I'm going to draw 2 rays, all right? And 2 rays, wherever they meet, that's the vertex, all right? So let's go and pick out a line. A, O, that's 1 ray. F, O, that's another ray. So when I go and name this, I'm going to say it's angle A, O, F. Angle A, O, F. That vertex is right in the middle, which is perfect, so I named it correctly. Now, you could name that exact same angle with these letters instead. Angle F, O, A. It doesn't matter if it's alphabetical. The only thing that matters is that the O, which is the vertex here, is right in the middle, okay? Let's go name another one. We could name angle E, O, C, which could also be angle C, O, E. That middle vertex has to be the O, all right? Let's go name another one. Angle DOF. Angle DOF. Or we could say angle FOD, as long as the O is in the middle. Another one, we can name angle BOE. angle BOE, or angle EOB. Either way, not alphabetical, just got to have the vertex in the middle. There's a million different angles we can name over here, all right? These are just a few examples. So let's go and scroll down to the next one where we're going to talk about identifying different types of angles. So let me scroll down. There we go. Oh, we can fit them all on the same page. That's great. Let's look at number 2 right here. So number 2 says identify those angles. And we're just going to use the types of angles of vertical, adjacent, complementary, or supplementary. And we're going to look for the best fitting word. Some of these might fit for more than one, but we want the most specific word that we can think of, okay? So when we're looking through these, we're not going to use words like acute and obtuse and right and straight. Those are types of angles too. But since we're learning these angles, and you guys have already learned those other types long ago in elementary school, we just want to stick to these, okay? Because this is kind of the new thing. So we just want to use one of these 4 words to identify these angles. This one right here, we have B and A. Let's see. It looks like those angles are right across from each other. So they're vertical. And let's say A was 28 degrees. All right? Just made that number up. If it was 28 degrees, its vertical angle would also be 28 degrees because vertical angles are congruent. That's why they're everybody's favorite. They're the easiest ones. All right, let's look at this one. Angle A and angle B. It looks like they're right next to each other, and they're on this straight line. A straight line or a straight angle is 180 degrees. All right? So looking at this one, if they're on a straight line, it looks like we split that angle into 2. So if we still have that straight angle, those are going to add up to 180 degrees. 2 angles that add up to 180 degrees are supplementary. I'm going to abbreviate it, okay, just for space. So angle A plus angle B equals 180 degrees because they're on that straight line, that straight angle. So they're supplementary. Let's look at the next one. Now this is not a right angle. If it was a right angle, we would see this little box. We see that red box down here or the red box down here. That little box in the corner tells us it's a right angle. Just because it kind of looks like a right angle doesn't mean it is, so we don't want to assume. So this is not a right angle. If it's not a right angle, these don't add up to 90, so they're not complementary. All that's special about these 2 angles is that they're next to each other. They're just adjacent. They just happen to be next to each other. We don't know what they add up to give us, so we couldn't say. All right, they're just next to each other. Looking over here, we have 2 angles that are, once again, directly across from each other. A and B are right across from each other, so they're vertical angles. And if angle A was 57 degrees, angle B would be 57 degrees as well. They're equal, all right? Let's look at the next one. Here's that red box that we were talking about, and that just is the symbol for a right angle. So I have angle A and angle B. A plus B is going to equal that right angle. So A plus B equals 90. When we have 2 angles that add to 90, those are complementary, okay? Let's look at the next one. Here's a right angle, and this is also a right angle. It's not marked in that same way, but we have to remember that if we're on that kind of line and one of those is 90, the other one has to be 90 as well. So we're talking about complementary angles here because we have angle B and angle A. They add up to give us 90 degrees. Looking over here, these 2 angles are right next to each other, so we know they're adjacent. Are they complementary? If they were complementary, we'd have a right angle here. This doesn't look like a right angle at all. So it looks like these angles just happen to be next to each other. And because they're just next to each other and they don't add to 90 or 180, they're just adjacent angles. And this one right here, once again, if this was a straight line that kept going straight like that, then those 2 angles would add to 180. But it's not. This kind of curves right there. It kind of bends. So these angles are just next to each other. They're just adjacent. They don't add to 180 because this isn't a straight line. They don't add to 90 because there's no right angle there. And the last one, so we have this straight line here. Whoops, and it looks like we've split that straight line into 2 angles, A and B. So straight angles are 180 degrees, so A plus B is going to add up to 180. That means these are supplementary. All right? So just to give a quick recap, whenever we talk about supplementary angles, we're talking about a straight line that we've split into 2 different angles. And when we add those up, we get 180 degrees, so those are supplementary. However, up here, when we have a right angle, We start with a right angle that's 90 degrees, and then we just split it in two. So those two angles still have to add up to 90 degrees. And when they add up to 90, those are complementary. If they are just two angles next to each other, not in a right angle, not on a straight line, those are just adjacent. And vertical angles are just directly across from each other, and they're congruent. They're the same thing. All right, they're equal to each other. You guys, thanks for sticking around for the whole video. I always appreciate it. I will see you guys in class tomorrow. Bye.